Hey guys, guess what? I have a last minute guest for this episode. Yep. So obviously, Andrew, he's not going to be able to be with us this episode because of he just said he just couldn't be with us. So he'll be with us on the next episode. But because it was most likely going to be just me, I was actually able at the very last minute, moments before I recorded, able to get a guest, and you might know him very, very well because the person that is coming back is Sam, the huge Caniac Driscoll.
Oh,
Wow.
I'm back. I know. Sam, the better Sam is finally back.
No, he's not. You shut up, all right?
But it is good to be back and doing a little bit of an episode here. I think we'll have a good old time and talk about the Canes and how much you missed me.
Well, we're only covering one game, and that's that Montreal loss, if you remember.
Oh, what an awful episode for me to come back to, Sam. Awful, just awful.
It was your
Awful
idea.
It was my idea. But yeah, it's good to be back for an episode here to say hi to everybody, and we'll have a good time.
And just as a reminder to you guys, he's coming back as a guest. He's not coming back as a host.
No.
Andrew and I are the main host. Sam was the main host.
See, he said it. I was the main host. I was it. The better
Dang
Sam.
You
He
shut
said
up.
it. It is recorded. You are not allowed to edit this out.
I will mute you if I have to. I have the power.
You have the power.
And you don't. Well, as usual, remember, we have a great deal with SeatGeek. You get $20 off your first purchase if you use promo code Caniac Report, all one word. It's a great deal if you're trying to save money on some tickets, whether that's to a comedy show or to a live concert. I know Sam and I were going to be going to a comedy show here soon.
Yes, we are.
Yep, definitely. And also, another thing, too, if you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you never miss another episode. And also, if you're listening to us wherever you get your podcast, please leave a rating and a review. It really does help us out. So, Sam, we're going to start talking. Again, this is just a run-of-the-mill episode that you and I are usually used to. Start talking about stuff around the league since the last episode, and there's quite a few stuff I want to talk about. One, Ovechkin, he reached 1,000 goals, obviously, since our last episode. Again, I'm not a fan of the player by any means, Sam, but I respect what he has done.
He's a power play merchant, empty net merchant. Overrated. Everyone knows how much I hate Ovechkin. I'm not going to praise the dude.
Oh, well, I respect for what he has done.
No.
You are too happy to be back for this episode, aren't you?
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It was something I enjoyed doing, but, life happens, and I was able to make it for an episode, so let's make it count. We'll have fun, and we'll talk smack about Ovechkin, so even better.
Oh, my gosh. Well, listen, I still have respect for the guy. Listen, again, I'm not a fan of him. He gets most of his goals just from that one-time position, Ovechkin's office, or whatever you like to call it. But considering no one has been able to stop him on the shots, I understand why he keeps doing it.
Yeah, you see it. You see it coming from a mile away. I go to those games, and I'm like, he's standing right there. It's like you can see it 2-3 seconds before it happens because you know exactly what he's going to do.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Now he is one of the laziest players in the National Hockey League. Pure lazy. And here's the stat. I don't know if you knew this, but I happened to see it. This is about to become a potential record. Alexander Ovechkin has not been on the ice for one single defensive zone draw this season.
Really?
Not one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But regardless, I will it's a minor congratulations. Not like it's a hip hip hooray from me, but just a minor congratulations to Ovechkin for hitting the 1,000 goal mark. Next thing, Sam, I know you might like this type of discussion, but we found out from the phone hearing that AJ Greer got 3-game suspension on that hit. I can't remember which player it was, but it was again
I think
against Calgary. I know that I saw the hit, and yeah, that was freaking dirty.
it was a dirty hit, and there was intent. At least in my mind, when I looked at it, it looked like it was clear intent to injure on the hit. Uh, Player was already going down, and he just cross-checked him in the back. I don't know what he expected was going to happen. Florida's got a reputation. They're a
Yep,
dirty
they do.
team. They're a dirty team. They got some dirty players, and they do it well, and they get away with it well. Like I'm not, however you feel about that. I hate dirty players and dirty hockey. I don't think that's a way to do it. You need to have a little grit and a little nastiness when you're in the playoffs. That's why Carolina got to Laurier. I mean, they could play a lot, but you want the guy there that can be like hey, just hold up. Don't start trying to take liberties. We've got someone we can put in the lineup. AJ Greer is just he's a dirty guy. He's a dirty player. He's not a clean player by any means. And in my mind, I thought he deserved closer to Malkin's suspension. He has a history. And this was not the first time he's been suspended, not the first time he's been, he also got fined in the past.
Yep.
Personally, I think he should have been somewhere between 5 to 10 games suspended.
I agree too. But you and I both have our feelings. I think we share those feelings with the Department of Player Safety and George Peros.
Yes.
So yeah, only 3 games. Listen, I agree. I think it should have been more, especially looking at the history of AJ Greer. But regardless, water under the bridge at this point, Sam. So the last thing I want to talk about, because I found this interesting, and it makes sense a little bit because we're going to be talking about the Pittsburgh Penguins here. But apparently, Pierre LeBrun talked to Kyle Dubas, the GM of Pittsburgh, and he said he has no intent and no interest whatsoever of trading Erik Karlsson. I understand that a little bit just because, I don't think anybody saw Pittsburgh this near the top in the standings at this point in the season.
Yeah, I mean, good for Pittsburgh. I honestly, the teams in the Metro, I happen to like who are currently in a playoff spot. I like Pittsburgh. I like Columbus. I think the other
Islanders
two teams
are out of it, I believe, right now.
As I think the 2 other teams are Atlantic Division teams.
Yeah,
but don't hold me to that because I haven't pulled up the standings today. But I love that for Crosby because I think he deserves to go out in the playoffs, right? So he deserves that, right? However many years he plays, he deserves to have his last season in the playoffs. So I have no problem with Penguins making the playoffs. They're a decent team, right? They have some high power offense. I'm a little surprised. I also don't know how true it is whether Dubas was looking to trade him. I believe beginning of the season he probably was looking to trade him. Elliot Friedman even mentioned, every team in the league is buyers except for Pittsburgh. Was what was said by Elliot Friedman at the beginning of the season, and now they were buyers at the deadline. They didn't really do a whole heck of a lot to my memory, but they traded Skinner for Jari. That ended up working out really well for them.
Mm-hmm.
And Karlsson's a big piece of that. He lit us up a couple times himself this season. So he's a great player. He adds a lot of offense. Pittsburgh's going to have to outscore their problems in my mind, but they have the pieces to do that. Malkin's having a resurgent season, like an excellent resurgent season. And Crosby's having a heck of a year. Karlsson's having a heck of a year. So their best players are having very good seasons, and that's why they are where they are. We'll see what they do next season. And in fairness, that contract was going to be hard to move anyway.
Oh, it really was. And can you believe, Sam, that like at one point, like Carolina was serious contenders of trying to get Erik Karlsson too, if you remember that.
Yeah, I think that was. I want to think, was it this last off season, right? Or last deadline?
I thought it was 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of made sense. We were probably looking for a soon-to-be replacement for Burns, and a replacement for D'Angelo kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, it made sense to take a look, but Carolina was never going to take on that full contract. So, and Pittsburgh was never had any intention of retaining. So, I just don't think that player was ever going to move. I don't know how much longer is left on his contract, but we'll just have to
Yeah,
wait and see. But they deserve a run, so I hope they get in. It looks like they're close, but the bottoms of the standings, they're all tight. So, I mean, Columbus leapfrogged Pittsburgh the other day, or Columbus leapfrogged Penguins the other day, and
they're
you
in
never
second
know.
place.
So they are. So right now, I think it's Pittsburgh versus Columbus, and Columbus has home ice. So that should be a fun series to watch, and we'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. I would think a series like that actually favors Pittsburgh, to be honest.
Um, yeah, well, a lot of players in Columbus are pretty inexperienced in the
Yeah, they
playoffs.
are.
Pittsburgh's got Crosby, Malkin, Letang, and Carlson all have very good experience in the playoffs and have been very good players in the playoffs. So you would think Pittsburgh would win, but Columbus has home ice, and Columbus, don't forget, they swept the President's Trophy winner Tampa Bay the first year that we made the playoffs.
Yes, they did.
Wild card teams all advanced, I believe. So in the playoffs. So
And they had that second chance thing for the playoff.
yeah,
Your
the
playoff
bracket.
brackets.
Yeah, because all the wild card teams beat the first place teams, which is crazy. That doesn't happen, but
No, it doesn't. But yeah,
that's what you want to see, right? And that'll be a fun series. I'll tell you right now, Pittsburgh, Columbus, that'd be a fun series to watch. I'll probably be watching that one.
it definitely will be. I think there's going to be lots of scoring in
Yeah.
that series, which again, I think that favors more Pittsburgh, and they have the veterans. Columbus doesn't. But that's another discussion for an entire day. So that's it for us talking about stuff around the league, Sam. Let's get to talk about the Hurricanes. Big news came out this week on the Hurricanes,
Mm-hmm.
and that is the fact that we got to see a little bit of a sneak peek of what the schedule is going to be like for next season, because November 12th and 14th games will be against the Seattle Kraken, and those games will be in Finland. And this is the first time they have done that since Canes versus Minnesota back in 2010 to 2011 season.
Yep.
So I find it awesome that they're part, I think it's called the 2026 Global Series that they're going to be in. Sam, I'm happy that they're doing this again.
Yeah, I mean, did you know the first time Sebastian Aho watched Carolina was at that game?
Yes, it was.
So that is an awesome thing for Aho to now go back and play for one of those two teams, right? That'll be a awesome game to watch. Finland versus Carolina versus Seattle. That's going to be a great game to watch. Aho deserves that. Good for him. So I'm excited for that game. It's going to be a really fun one to watch and to enjoy. And it's a great opportunity for these players and for the country of Finland to see these guys on the ice.
Yeah. I mean, it's been so long since those games against Minnesota, Sam, but I wonder what the time difference is going to be. Because those games are going to be played at a completely different time.
Yeah, so whether we get to watch them or not, it's all dependent. I think one's on a Saturday, so you'll probably get to watch one if you really want to. So it's awesome that it's happening. The player, in my mind, I view it for the players. So I think they deserve this opportunity.
Okay, yeah. So the 14th is on a Saturday. The 12th is on a Thursday. Maybe I take that Friday off. Who knows?
There you go.
Alrighty. So that was very cool. Great announcement on those two games for the next season. And the other thing, too, I want to talk about, Sam, just a minor thing, nothing probably much to talk about, but obviously we brought up Charles Alexis Legault. Obviously, we sent him down during warmups against Montreal. But I think you could probably tell a little bit just from that call-up that something else was going on probably in that locker room health-wise in terms of one of our defensemen.
Yeah, well, it sounded like from Adam Gold, I listened to his episode. Sounds like there was a bug going through the locker room.
Yeah.
So it sounded like it was possible they were going to need him to play over somebody. I don't know who wasn't healthy. So it's one of those. We'll see if he's needed. Hopefully, Goss Despair's back this weekend. I would like to think he will be. Um,
I hope so. He's been gone for a long time.
10 games.
It feels like a long time.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's only played I think 46 or 47 games this season, so he's only played just over half. So he's been hurt a lot. But when he's in the lineup, he's been unbelievable. The good thing is Mike Riley has been playing very, very well. And so has Joel Nystrom when he played, and so has Charles Alexis Legault when he played as well. So I disagree with Adam a little bit here that I think our depth on the blue line is actually okay. I think Riley is a good seventh defenseman, and I think Nystrom is very capable of playing in the NHL, and I think Charles Alexis Legault is also very capable of playing in the NHL. You obviously hope you don't have to utilize them because Goss Despair is better than all three. But I think we're okay in that area if we have some injuries. You obviously are hoping to God that you don't have three of your blue liners go down. That's devastating. You're probably not winning a playoff series if that happens. But I think Legault getting called up says something that they obviously are really high on that player.
Yeah, exactly. And kind of like what you said, like in terms of like probably not needing another defenseman, like. I mean, obviously, last season we had to play a couple of rookies on the blue line. Nikishin, one of them, and Scott Morrow. Mm-hmm. And I would argue more in Nikishin's case than Morrow's case in the fact that the very first games that Nikishin played were playoff games. That's not the case for Nystrom and Legault. No. They've already played a very good handful of games, and they played even more games, more so Nystrom than Legault, obviously, than the likes of I think of Scott Morrow. I could be wrong on that, but it's just they have so many NHL games under their belt. Yes, you don't want to play them. No. I understand you probably don't want to, but the fact that they have pretty good some experience, yes, they're still considered rookies. It's nice to know that they can be there, and I think it's a little bit of a different scenario.
Well, they're also better on the other side of the puck than Morrow was, right? I liked Morrow when he was here. I did. I thought his offensive abilities were pretty good, but you turned him into Keandre Miller, and where Keandre Miller, in my mind, and of late hasn't been that great. He is still leaps and bounds better than Morrow. So that trade, in my mind, really, I think we won the trade. Miller's been excellent, but Nystrom and Legault are better defensively than Morrow ever was or ever will be. So bringing in one of those two guys to play, I don't think you're going to be in as defensive you're not going to be in such a bad situation. Like, you're not going to see them get abused the way Morrow is getting abused this year in New York and got abused last year in the playoffs.
Yes, definitely. And the last thing I think I want to talk about, because this raised eyebrows, and this is talking about a little bit of the Montreal game, but it was announced Anderson was going to play a second consecutive game. That was against Montreal. That's a little bit telling, Sam, considering, because I think that's something that Brendan Morris like. Right now, I'm kind of leaning towards you to starting in the playoffs.
Well, he's been better. He's been the better of the two goalies after the break. I think Bussy got better the last game he played. I don't think he let any bad goals necessarily. Maybe stoppable goals, but not bad. Anderson has played better. He hasn't played great by any means. Neither goalie, for the record, is playing good enough for a playoff game. They just aren't. So you need, and I agree with Adam on this, you need to stop the bad goals. Right? That those have to end, right? They just have to. And I think Bussy's ceiling is higher than Anderson because we saw it. We saw the ceiling, right? We saw how good he can play. Freddie, I think, is the thing with Freddie is his ceiling isn't as high, but
he's more ready. He's more ready than Bussy and Kochetkov.
He's done it.
What you're trying to say, yeah.
He's done it before. Anderson's ceiling, in my mind, isn't that high, and I think people need to get over the fact that folks don't like Freddie. And you have to understand, we lost a playoff series solely because of Freddie Anderson. And if you were in the arena for Game 6,
this was the Rangers series.
Yeah, if you were in that building for Game 6 against New York, you were traumatized by Freddie Anderson because he was horrendous in that game. Horrendous. That's why you lost the playoff series, why you lost the game. So bad experience. So yeah, people are kind of fed up with that. So they're worried about it going into the playoffs, but sometimes players turn to switch. And then all of a sudden they're good to go. So it wouldn't shock me if we get to the playoffs and we start to see that Freddie Anderson that has been very good in the playoffs. Or we start to see a Brandon Bussey who was excellent in the first part of the season for us. We just don't know. And if you get Kochetkov back, that's even better. You've got 3 goalies, which I think is imperative to have. And I don't like that Caden Primo is the third goalie.
Yeah, well,
it's risky.
This year is going to be interesting for Anderson in the fact that this is the last year of his contract.
Yeah.
So when you get to playoff time, basically with Anderson, it's like, listen, I mean, odds are, is he going to come back next season? No, he's not. But he needs to play like his next contract depends on it.
Yes,
and
well, it does.
Yeah.
It does, because he's not going to come back here. We don't need him as a, and I'm not paying him like $3 to $4 million to be the backup to the backup, because that's where he would be in the pecking order.
Yeah. But let's say he does. Sense. Let's say somehow he is able to win the Stanley Cup for us. To me, that's the only reason where I could see Carolina bringing him back. The only reason. That's it.
Because, I could see that too.
Because, like, if Carolina gets eliminated, odds are, like, regardless, I think, of Anderson's performance, the odds are against him. So, in any form of elimination with Anderson in net, that's probably his last game as a Hurricane.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair at the end of the day. Also, Freddie's an older goalie. Both Bussey and Kochetkov are younger. In Carolina, I was looking to, I think, Pagnotta.
And they kind of need to bring someone new in.
Yeah,
I think.
And I was reading something from Pagnotta today, and people can argue credibility, but again, he is out there in the league and he does break stuff. But he wrote something or he was on a show. But he was talking that Carolina was interested in both Bobrovsky and in Bennington. So, and he expects Carolina to be back in the mix for both of those players this offseason. I think they make some sense. I think Bennington makes a lot more sense than Bobrovsky. And we've seen how good.
Say that, yeah.
Well, we've seen how unbelievable Bennington plays in front of a good team. So, in my mind, I think Bennington makes a lot of sense. I think a Bennington-Kochetkov duo with a Brandon Bussey as a third option makes a lot of sense. Or maybe you utilize one of those two to go and bring in Bennington. I don't know. It just depends on what the team thinks. But we're poking around goaltending. So we'll just have to see if that's a serious look at in the offseason.
Yeah, we'll see. Obviously, I mean, Bennington, Bobrovsky are out there. I think reports show, and Sam, I'm sure you'll agree to this too, that apparently Florida's interested in extending Bobrovsky. So we'll see how that goes. I, honestly, when it comes to Florida and their pending unrestricted free agents, I'm just going to assume that all of them just come back somehow. I really do, especially after last season,
You thought at least some of them were hitting the market and none of them did.
Exactly.
So, yeah. I mean, we'll see. They're getting to be an old team, so we'll see if it's going to make a lot of sense for them to bring these guys back.
Yeah, because those are expensive contracts.
Very. Bobrovsky's is very expensive.
A lot of them, and a lot of them are long-term, which, listen, when it comes to Tulsky and the contracts he's giving out, like the money-wise, it's great. It's just the term, Sam, that he's given a lot of term to a lot of these players. And to me, when you give that a lot of term to a lot of players, there's quite a bit of risk in that. So we'll see how that goes, though.
There is, but fortunately, like some of the guys don't have no move clauses. Like I don't think Stankoven or Blake do. So
they might. Well, Sam, let's go ahead and get to a sponsor, and then we'll be recapping the loss against Montreal. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, is built for the fastest game on ice. With player props and live betting, every shift, every shot, every save gives you options to get in on the game with DraftKings Sportsbook. New customers, bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Blue Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright 2026. NHL. All rights reserved. All right, Sam. Well, obviously we lost the game at the end of it. The first period for the Canes, pretty good, actually.
They dominated the first period.
They
and
did.
Sam, what do I say in like every game we go to? Should have
Gotta
gotten
get
more
more
out.
out of that
Should have gotten more out of that period, and that was the literal definition of should have gotten more out of that period. They probably should have scored 4, maybe 5 in that period. It just didn't happen. I thought Dobish played very good. He kept them in the game in that first period. I mean, we scored 2 gorgeous goals. I'm not going to, say we didn't. They were beautiful.
Ehlers scored on the
Yep.
power play from Svechkin Jarvis. We thought Jarvis had scored there, but it was tipped off a Montreal player. And
Our
then
power
Jordan
play?
Stahl does Jordan Stahl like things.
Your dad's favorite player, George Stahl, Stonehand Stahl, and acted like a sniper there. Look, really the thing I take out of the first period is the power play is still clicking, and they're clicking really well.
Oh my gosh, they are.
Jordan
And Ehlers
George,
is playing on both power play units.
Yep, and that's because Stahl takes the draw, and then if he goes off, then Ehlers comes on. So, which I think is great. That kind of gets you a high end guy on both units. But I'll say this: I fully believe, that this game showed a couple things. First period showed a couple things. 1, power plays clicking. 2, George Stahl should be in the conversation for best defensive forward. Like he should. That's the Selke. He should be in the conversation for the Selke. He really should be every season. He's just not a scoring guy. But the fact that he's almost got 20 goals this year, I'm hoping puts him in the conversation. Especially since
18
Barkov's
goals
not there. Yeah, and I think he gets to 20. He's got 11 games left. I can't imagine he doesn't score again this season. I'm sure he'll score another couple. He's on the power play. That's where he's been getting a lot of his goals at anyway. So I think he should be in the conversation for the Selke. And if he's not, shame on the league, really. It's just another snub to a smaller market franchise, which I think is outrageous.
Yeah. Well, I think you're missing another thing, Sam, because I think it also shows, and I think if we did like a player power rankings on the Hurricanes team, to me, the number 1 player will be Ehlers, because he has really upped his performance almost to a T. And I would say, I mean, we talked already about Ghost. Ghost and Ehlers, to me, are the players that have really upped their game this season.
Yeah.
Those 2 players specifically. And with Ehlers, man, he is so fun to watch.
Ehlers he has just turned his game on. It has been said that like defensemen take a little time to get better here. But Ehlers, I think, took a little time to kind of get going. And now that he's going. And if that's the kind of player that we start to see, even going into next season, I think he'll get 20 or 30 more points next season, probably have career years here in Carolina. I think that Well, one and Gostisbehere too. Heck, I mean, if you want to talk about the season, if he had played all 82, he's probably looking at somewhere between 60 to 80s, 60 to maybe 75 ish
Yes.
points. So, I mean, that's the most a defenseman's had here. I mean, what, since D'Angelo? And I think he was only at like 50. So, I mean, that's what you're wanting from these guys. Brady Shea also had a lot of points here in Carolina, but if you can turn Gostisbehere into that, if he comes back next year healthy, because he's obviously been plagued with something all season, which is concerning that wasn't, it's concerning to me. He hasn't played in almost 10 games, but he has been so good, and so has Stahl. Like players that, started off maybe a little rocky. I think Stahl Gostisbehere's been good all season, but Ehlers started off a little rocky. Svechnikov started off a little rocky. I mean, we're seeing these guys emerge, and they lunged onto the scene after Game 8. Svech has just been unbelievable all season, and I'm loving his game. And even though this was a bad game in my mind, and even then, I don't know how bad they played. As much as I think Dobish played better than Anderson, I don't blame Freddie necessarily for the goals. I mean, you look at who scored the goals. Caulfield got a pair. He's a heck of a goal scorer. And there was just very little Freddie could do. I mean, maybe.
Well, there were tips. There were two tips that
the first one was a tip.
Yeah, confident.
Yeah, that first one was a tip. I'm always pretty. I don't like 5-hole goals. And in my mind, they don't go in if you keep your stick flush to the ice, and Freddie didn't, so it went through the legs. Do I blame him on it? No. Do I think it's a stoppable goal? I do. I do think that one's savable. I don't blame him for it, and I don't blame Freddie. I don't think Freddie had a bad game. I don't think he had a chance to really make saves, and I think when those goals
he didn't.
They weren't playing well in front of him. You want to talk about you want to save? Yeah, you want a save on when Keandre Miller gives up the puck. That's where you save.
Yes. Well, I mean, the Slavkovsky goal, too, that was in the second period. That's what tied the game. That was a tip, too. So 2 tips already. Yeah. Nothing Anderson can do about that. The Caulfield goal, I mean, that was off of a hard shot from Suzuki, and it came right to him. A little bit of puck luck, unfortunately, there. But, I mean, I don't blame Anderson on that. I mean, to me, the only goal that you could probably maybe blame him on, I would say, Sam, is the Demidov goal. I mean, obviously, Miller, he fumbled the puck and all. Yeah. And Demidov, he was coming in so fast. And, boy, Sam, one thing that I'll give credit to Montreal, they have a fun system to watch because they're so young and fast.
They're high-flying offense. Yeah, and Marty St. Louis, to his credit, that's how he played. I mean, Marty St. Louis was that kind of player. And I know surprise there that he's an offensive-minded coach. He was an offensive-minded player. And I love watching Montreal play because they're fun. They are fun to watch. And their series in the Atlantic Division, that's going to be a fun series to watch, too.
Yeah, as of right now, they versus Tampa in the first round.
I don't know. That'll be an interesting series. They could extract an ounce of flesh from Tampa Bay. I could see them upsetting Tampa Bay too. Absolutely, yep. They're good enough to beat Vasilevsky.
And on the back end, you have Lane Hudson and Noah Dobson. Man,
yeah,
like that's tons of offense.
Yep,
tons.
They're in a very, very, very good position right now, and obviously, I'm upset we lost the game. You know how I feel about recapping losses. I think it's important to take away big picture things that are good for Carolina. And there was good, right? How they played in the first is how you want to see them play the second and the third. And really what another huge takeaway that I think we should take away from this game is it's another second period where Carolina played really, really poorly. Yep. Right? And I think you would agree.
They've been known to play in bad second periods.
And I don't know where this came from. It's like out of nowhere, they absolutely garbage in the second period, where if they don't get like almost 3-4 goals in the first, you're like, I'm not sure, like you're going to the second, like, I don't know if that was enough to get this.
Except for the Pittsburgh game that happened Sunday.
Yeah, and that was like the first time they had a good second period. And it's like, okay, that's what you want to see. That Pittsburgh game, how they played in the first, the second and third. That is what you want to see from this team. That was
Yep,
a complete
exactly.
game. And then tonight, they had a good first, very good first. Unlucky goal gets past Freddie. So it's not, you're not up 2-0, you're up 2-1. You get to the second period, a bad second period. Montreal takes the lead. They're up 3-2, I think, by the end of the second. Or was it 4-2?
By the end of the second, it is 3-2.
So they're up 3-2, and you're kind of sitting there like, shoot, right? Another bad second period. Montreal gets 2, you get none. But I think Carolina came in the third and played. They started to build up the game again and started to look dangerous again. And then, Keandre Miller fumbles it. It's a 1-goal game. You can't do that. Like, you just can't in that situation. And Demidov scores. Like I said, I don't blame you can't blame the goalie on a breakaway, but if you want to talk about a goal where, Dobish was getting saves on our breakaways, it's almost like Freddie needs to answer. So you want to save there.
Yep.
But that plays on Miller. It's not on Freddie. It's on Miller. He gave the puck away, and then he didn't, there was an element in my mind when I saw the play. For whatever reason, there was no urgency from Miller on the play at all after he turned the puck over. So you just saw like he got completely embarrassed on it. And that's kind of, maybe if that hasn't happened, Carolina finds a way to get a goal. I don't know. I thought the officiating in this game was below average. It wasn't awful, but definitely not great.
There's also, if you remember, there was that 2-0 chance that Slavin and Chatfield had, if you remember.
Yeah, I mean, it's Slavin and Chatfield. Those are the two guys on the team that just don't score. So
Yeah,
it's like,
when you get that chance, you'd like for them to score at the same time.
No, you do. Carolina's been they fumbled a lot of 2-on-1s. They fumbled a lot of breakaways for whatever reason. They just aren't scoring. But other teams are scoring on their breakaways against us. So you got to have one of two things need to happen. We need to start capitalizing on those opportunities.
Taylor Hall, I believe, had a breakaway in the first period that game. So it's just like you got to score on those chances.
Yeah, I think Stankoven had an in-front opportunity all
did.
alone. Mm-hmm. And it's like, so we had two opportunities, did score. Montreal had one, they scored. So it's a thing where if other goalies are going to get the save on the breakaway, like we're not scoring, then your goalie needs to start stopping some of those. And at some point, you got to be like, okay, one of you has to step up, right? The shooter's got to start stepping up and scoring on them, or the goalie's got to start stepping up and saving them. But somebody needs that needs to be some kind of a thing there, because in general, we just don't score on breakaways for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And we do score some, but just not in general.
Yeah. And other than the Pittsburgh game, because I think that's more of an outlier from Sunday's matchup. I mean, the defense in front of Anderson, I think it's just been a little bit shaky in terms of the Slavin pair. And, I mean, Nikishin and Riley, I mean, I think that pair's played fine, but it's mainly that Slavin Chatfield pair that I mean, listen, I love Slavin to death. I really, really do. I still think he's a heck of a defenseman, but you can tell he's not 100%.
And I don't think Chatfield is either. So I think there's an element of danger to putting those two out there together in the playoffs.
Well, I understand right now just because Ghost is out, there's only so much you can do. Especially because I honestly, the Miller-Walker pair has been our best pair. Honestly, I think it has.
Yeah. They've been very good.
So that's why, I mean, I know you said you haven't liked Miller fully this season. I have.
Yeah, it's just honestly right now Chatfield's the one more in my doghouse than Miller. I really
There's always a player in your doghouse, Sam.
Yeah. Right now,
there's always a player.
I just don't think Chatfield's been typical Chatfield this season. At least that's how I viewed it. Miller's had great moments. I mean, great moments this season. And I think in general that was
there are times where he can
beneficial
take over
trade.
game, I think.
And that was a beneficial trade to us. I think at the end of the day, the pros do outweigh the cons. So like my view on Miller is kind of like that C+, B, above average to above average right now. But what the understanding is, it takes like a player like almost a year to get used to everything. Mm-hmm. So I get that. But I honestly think if once Ghost is healthy, you almost think that maybe you should put him with Slavin, but Ghost isn't healthy.
I love that.
I think you've got three defensemen who aren't healthy: Slavin, Ghost, Chatfield. They're just not healthy right now. And at the end of the day, you're going to have. I think you're going to be better off splitting them up a little bit. So, and we're putting at least someone like Gostisbehere with Slavin, because Gostisbehere, in my mind, hasn't played hurt this season. Like, he doesn't look bad. I can't think of a time where Gostisbehere, I was like, oh, you've had a really bad game. I think Gostisbehere's been excellent. He's been the best defenseman all season when he's been on the ice. I would put Gostisbehere with Slavin because whatever's ailing Gostisbehere doesn't seem to be translating onto the ice. Slavin and Chatfield's injuries are translating because Slavin hasn't been as Slavin-y as he is normally. I think you would agree with that.
Yep.
And Chatfield hasn't been as Chatfieldy as he has been in the past as well. So I think splitting those two up, putting Slavin with Gostisbehere, and putting Chatfield with Nagetian.
Yeah, I'd love that. I think that'd be – I think, like, I remember before the season started, I was talking about the defensive pairs, and while Ghost and Nagetian have been a great pair, I think it has always made a little bit more sense maybe to put Chatfield with him because you have that defensive coverage for Nagetian.
And I think Chatfield and Slavin both play better with offensive defensemen on the line. I just do. That's how it's been. So I would love to see that, at least try it out, maybe down the stretch and see what it looks like. Because in the playoffs, I don't know if you can go in with Slavin and Chatfield. Like, they're two of our best defensemen. I don't know if Chatfield's on this team next season. I just don't. The Nystrom contract gives me pause.
He might.
Yeah,
I think there's a pretty good chance he stays on this team.
Again, there's a pause. That contract gives me pause, right? That someone won't be on the team next year. I don't know who. It just gives me pause because I don't know if you sign Nystrom that contract to not play. But you never know. But we'll just wait and see. But there was a lot to like in this game, even though we lost. The power play still very good. Looks very good. Ehlers still on fire. Svechnikov got a point. Stahl
penalty kill looked good.
Yeah, and special teams, I think Carolina is in a great spot right now. So I'm just hoping to see that continue. Come down the stretch. You're going down to, we got 4 home games left and 7 road games. So,
yep.
We're
getting
you want to win. In my mind,
yeah.
And in my mind, you got to win all 4 of the home games. And then if you can split, win 2 to 3 of the road games, I think you're going to be pretty sit pretty.
Yes, you will. Well, Sam, how does it feel completing an episode after all this time off?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was fun to come back for an episode and say hi to everyone, and give the people what they wanted, the better Sam.
I will mute you. But yeah, it was really, really fun. Really enjoyed it. Andrew, again, he couldn't participate in this episode, so I was like, Sam, well, it was your idea, but
yeah.
I was like, why not? So,
and you know what, your co-host now is excellent. You guys are in good hands, so love to see.
Am I allowed to say the reason?
No.
Why? No. Okay. All right.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Come on.
Maybe in the future. We'll see. And I'll also say this: maybe keep an eye out. I might have a project coming up that you Caniacs will enjoy as well. So this might not be the last you see me, but we'll see.
Don't take my viewers away from it.
Well, they'll listen to both. But you know what?
You think they will? Out of all the Hurricanes content out there, you think they will?
You never know, right? You just never know. But again, no guarantee, but just keep your eyes out. So it was fun to come back. It was fun to come back and enjoy some time here. And you know what? Go Canes, and we'll enjoy these last 4 home games, buddy.
Yep, we definitely will. And again, you guys heard whispers of Sam in previous episodes. He'll yell "Go Canes" and all that type of stuff. So you heard him. You heard him. So yeah, we will see you guys next time.